Anybody in this room planning to set up a business? Looking to set up a business? Okay, good. So understand this. In the beginning, your friends and family and loved ones are going to call you crazy. Have you ever been called crazy in this room? Nut bar? Wacko? Weirdo? All the above? You're drinking the Kool-Aid? It's kumbaya? Woo-woo? Sound familiar to some of you? Step number one is they're going to call you crazy. People are going to call you crazy. Then over a period of time, people are going to start calling you lucky. You're just at the right place at the right time. You just so happen to be and meet the right person. You have the magic touch. You know what luck is? Preparation meeting opportunity. You know what's interesting? I see a lot of people in the self-help industry talk about life balance. I've worked with some of the most successful people on planet Earth. There's no life balance. That's all a bunch of kumbaya. It's BS called belief system. Does that make sense? Whatever area of your life you're really strong in, there's an area of your life that you're weak in. It's a hierarchy of values. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but there's a way I could train you on all that stuff, how it works, how to understand that. But understand this. In your life, there's benefits and there's drawbacks. So step number one is you're going to call you crazy. Then they're going to call you lucky. And then when you become really successful, they're going to call you a crook. Okay? I have people 10, 15 years ago from Vernon, Kelowna, Kamloops, who want nothing to do with me. Oh, you're never going to go far. You're never going to do that. I went to Community Futures Development Corporation, sat down with a guy with a business plan and wanted to borrow $10,000. And I said to myself, I'm going to travel around the world someday. I said, why? He said, because my uncertainty and my insecurity of not being good enough will drive me. You know, one thing that inspires me is immigrants. I take an immigrant to this country, like Dan. Somebody comes to this country with $10 or $20 in their pocket and watch them hustle. I was in Africa recently. A gentleman comes up to me. He says, sir, would it be okay if I leave early today? I said, sure, where do you need to go? He says, sir, I need to walk home. It's 18 kilometers back to my village. Bare feet, just a pair of shorts, and no shirt. Okay? Wife and 4 children. He was with me for 5 days. And he says to me, I said, why do you have to leave early? He said, sir, he said, the clouds are starting to come in. And he said, I won't be able to use the stars and the moon to navigate to get back to my village, and I might get lost. And I do not want to be attacked by wild animals because I have a wife and 4 children. That morning, he walked 18 kilometers. That night, he walked 18 kilometers back. The next day, I learned that gentleman had not eaten in 7 days because he wanted to come to the event because he had a dream. And when you see that, people in the world who come to this country with nothing, but they have a dream. Somebody who works at Subway, Tim Hortons, making $10, $12 an hour. And every couple of weeks they're sending money back home to the Philippines, to India, to their country. And they're making minimum wage, living in Canada. And they don't complain because they want to make a difference. And when you see that in your life, it changes who you are. It changes you to realize the difference. Something so small, the impact you can make in people's lives. It's incredible. And you realize that, you know, when I go back here next week to Africa, that a solar-powered flashlight from Canadian Tire, Walmart, the dollar store, can help a business owner in Africa stay open a few hours later to sell their farmers markets vegetables and make a little more money to provide for their family because they have no electricity. I have a Kindle. And I'm in the village one day eating grasshoppers and crickets with these people, sitting around on a dirt floor, right? Nothing around, just a straw hut. And I'm reading my Kindle. And I'm thinking to myself, my Kindle's got about 26% battery life on it, that it's going to go dead. So I have to go back into the major city to charge it up if there's electricity. And I'm sitting there with these children, these orphan children, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, if I shipped books from North America to this village, the chance of it ever arriving here is slim. They don't have the distribution system of a mail system like we have in North America. And I thought, wow, if I could provide these children with Kindles, find a way to charge up their Kindle through a solar-powered thing, and I could download the books in North America like Think and Grow Rich, The Richest Man in Babylon, How to Win Friends, Influence People, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Ocean Strategies, all these different books, and download them on a Kindle and give it to a child, it would change the direction of their village. Something so small. So why do I bring this up? Because maybe tonight you have a call in your life that you want to dedicate your life to a cause or a purpose greater than yourself. What you'll find is successful people dedicate their life, whether it's missionary work, church work, it's to help eradicate a disease. If you have a chance, go online and watch what Bill and Melinda Gates just announced 2-3 weeks ago, their next 15-year plan for their Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation from now to 2030 of what they're going to do around the planet. And you start to find your way rather than thinking, I met a woman one day. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. And a woman says to me, she said, would you come over here and get your shoes shined? I said, okay. So the guy says to me in front of me, there's a lineup, we're at this conference, he says, it's $30 to get your shoes shined. He was an accountant. I said, $30 bucks? He goes, yeah. Well, I've never paid, how many of you ever paid $30 to shine your shoes? How many of you ever paid more than $7 or $8, $9? But $30. So I get up there, and I think, why would this guy charge 30 bucks? Is it some kind of magic polish? What is it? I sit down, and he says to me, he says, sir, welcome to my shoe shining booth. He sits down with me. He's from Somalia. He shows me a photo album. By you getting your shoes shined today, you're going to take 7 children out of poverty. You're going to feed and clothe them, provide them with education and school books by getting your shoes shined today. So I charge you $30. The guy had a lineup of people at this conference center, at this conference. You see, he dedicated his life to a cause or a purpose greater than himself. Does that make sense? It wasn't about shining shoes. It was about changing kids' lives in Somalia in a village. And so in your business today, whatever you're doing, think about how can I do some humanitarian work, philanthropy work, society work to make a difference.